so still. Clients come not from pressure but from presence. No more pushing from despair. I build from peace, I build from care. I don't convince, I calibrate, and overflow becomes my state. Foundation strong like stone and flame. I build my world from her name. It's not chasing, it's remembering that I am the one I've been sending. I don't move for proof, I move from truth. I sail with power, not needing proof. It's not what I do, it's who I be. The frequency that sets me free from the inside out. I rise, no more waiting, no disguise. Every breath, every choice is her voice, her voice, her voice. It's not about doing more, it's about becoming more. Because the strategy works when you do.
It's not about doing more, it's about becoming her more. And it works, right? It's good to see you all. Let's wait up until everybody. Hey, Nance, Judith, Gail, Alice, Kimberly, Stephanie, and I miss Lisa, but I'm going to start. It's already recording. Before we start, I want to do just a little thing. And if you feel like joining me, please do so. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Kimberly. Happy birthday to you.
That was so unexpected.
Happy birthday, girl.
Oh, that was the most special birthday song ever.
Always. Gives me as well. It's good to see you here. Special day for you, special day for everybody, but a very special day for you. So happy birthday, Kimberly.
In the light. First
In the
time.
light.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna start. I got a lot to share as always. So let me go. I'm going to hide you all, ladies. Give me a second. I'm gonna go to the screen. So everybody can see the screen. Everybody can hear me. You can see it move. Yes. All right. Okay, let's go over there. Okay, so today we come to day 2. Everybody, welcome. Let's slip over here and let's talk a little bit about what we have done yesterday. So welcome back to this day. You've made it here, so that's a good sign. And yesterday we have explored how the frequency or how the frequency that you carry moment to moment, 24 hours a day, is what is shaping everything around you. It's not only when you can see it, it's especially when you cannot see it yet, but the frequency that you carry moment to moment to moment is shaping everything around you, if you like it or not. This is the way that the laws of the universe work. Okay? We uncovered the sneaky saboteurs, at least we talked about some, those hidden programs and the meaning that you give to your circumstances. And I shared this formula that if you already opened up the sheets, you can see that it's all over in there. So we practice pausing before collapsing. We practice choosing a new meaning, which is absolutely there where is our job. And only if and when you become aware that that's your job, that's also where your power is. Because only if and when you are aware of changing the meaning, it doesn't mean that we are ignoring the reality. But if you can just give it a new meaning, just that one that makes you feel just a little bit better, right? Then your frequency shifts. So we practice feeling into the frequency of your future self. And today we're going to dive just a little bit deeper into that. All right. So today it's about moving beyond thinking about your future self, beyond repeating words about your future self, and actually start to live as her. And what does it really mean to be her now? How do you walk through challenges as that future version of you? How do you breed her? How do you decide as her? So today we're going to break this open, okay? And as always, I'm going to give you some examples that I have had with my clients. Also, I like to talk about my own examples because, yeah, who else better than myself and my own experiences as to give as an example so you can better let it sink in, okay? So let's set the intention for today. So today is about deepening your embodiment, understanding the difference between hoping and being, because there's one thing I would wish, I hope, if my being then still comes from the quality of the legs, the hoping just is not strong enough because it's the being that creates your vibration, the frequency. We're going to talk about the millionaire frequency. I love that word. Decoding the millionaire frequency, how that truly feels, and how to sustain it. Preparing that nervous system to handle the unknown. Okay. And activating daily micro practices that make this real. So because a lot of people I don't see because I'm watching my screen, my slides. Before we move on, just take a deep breath with me into the nose and out through the mouth. And I would love for you to drop a 1 in the chat if you're ready to deepen your embodiment today. And I hope that let me see if I can see that. All right. Okay, cool. Yes, 1. Yeah, it's a pretty cool song. Thank you, Kimberly. You meant the song of the YouTube or my singing? The YouTube, right?
The one you played right before this meeting start.
Yeah, from the AI. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You singing?
No, not yet. No, it's still only my message coming
Me too.
through.
I get
All
it.
right.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right, so awesome. So everybody is ready to do that. So why do I ask you that? Because and I like to repeat that probably every day, we do not manifest what we want. You manifest what you are. So you can want clients 5 every day, but if you then, and it doesn't happen yet, and then you say this isn't working, then you can want 5 clients, but it's not working. That allowing your 3D, your human reality, to define the way that you feel is then finally again what you keep on manifesting. Okay. And what you are, that is built by your thoughts. It's built by your feelings, your self-concept, your identity, moment by moment, breath by breath. That's also what I always say to everybody that works with me. This is not just a one-time thing. You start to do this because it's a way of living every day, every minute, every breath you take. With the small things and with the big things, you cannot only implement this, oh yeah, but then later on saying, oh no, here that this doesn't work. No, it works everywhere, always. Okay. So it's very important that you start to understand that the meaning that you give to a reality that's happening around you, that is a thought. Even though you repeat the fact, you repeat, my knee hurts, that's a real thing. That's my human reality. But on the same time that I mention it and I repeat it, it's a thought. So if people ask me how I'm doing with my knee, well, I don't lie. It hurts like hell. And how am I doing? I'm amazing. I'm great. My knee is resetting. So sometimes I truly not even talk about the knee and I directly go like, oh yeah, that's my body. That's resetting. And I truly work, and that's a challenge for me too, because it's so easy to talk about our Harrys, right? There's those old stories like, oh yeah, my knee and this and that and then you repeat it again and you create an invisible vibration. You don't want to do that. It's not about lying neither. Okay, yeah, I've got some issues with my knee, and I believe and I choose to believe that this will get better from now on. You're kind of saying the same, though it's a totally different frequency for you, right? And people don't really, I'm not saying that wrongly, but finally people ask, how are you doing? Not just to know so much, but just it's like a habit as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I forgot my microphone. This is a gift from this is a gift from my son for my birthday. And I have to get used to it. It's pretty cool. So, okay, so here it is. So let's go to slide number 3. Okay, so the true meaning of be her now. And let's decode this from the way that I see it and the way that I have taught it myself, okay? So many people, so many books teach us, or they say, be her now. You've got to be her now in the present moment. But what does that really mean? How does that look like? What is it actually meaning, okay? What does it not mean? It does not mean that you have to fake happiness all day. I mean, I have a lot of pain in my knee. So it's not like, oh yeah, I'm so fine and I have nothing. No, that's just bullshit. Your mind, your subconscious is not going to take that in. It does not mean that you ignore pain or pretend things are perfect. That's not what I mean with be her now. Right? It means you stay rooted in the knowing that you already are the woman who has what she desires, even when the outside is slow to reflect it. And we can do that. We've got to practice that. Yes, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes willingness to get you into this place, because we have been wired to do the other way around. We have been trained to talk about everything that bothers us. That's the way that we have been trained to believe. That's what we see on the news. That's what we see from our caretakers and all those people that are not studying this. They stay victim of their circumstances. Again, being a victim of a circumstance doesn't mean that your circumstance is not one that you like. But if you give your power the way that you feel, if you allow that to be defined by your reality, your current reality, then yes, you are a victim of your circumstances. Vibrational, energetic. So being her now means that and I'm going to give you some examples that you really can let that sink in. You're going to make decisions from trust, even though you are afraid, because sometimes, or a lot of times, every time when we go to the unknown, fear pops up. Remember, you can have fear without fear having you. Fear doesn't mean that you cannot do it. It just means that you have never done it. So every time when you go to the unknown, and that's always when we go towards our dreams, fear will pop up. But if you allow that fear to control you, you're going to make decisions from fear. And a lot of time, people do not jump. They stay where they are. They stay in the job they don't like. They stay in a relationship where they're not happy, right? The person that is her now, she walks with a sense of worthiness and not scarcity. I've been most of my time in that scarcity. I'm not worthy. But you walk from worthiness, even though people do not understand you, even though people don't see you, even you don't feel seen or heard. You hold your frequency steady even when results delay. Remember, results always come after your vibration. They catch up. Results are never here and then you think. That's what we believe is what we're doing. I have something I don't like, that is the result. And because of the result, I have a certain feeling. What if I tell you the law of, help me guys, girls, the law of cause and effect. Thank you. So cause and effect, we believe that the cause is the result and the effect is my feelings. No way, Jose. It's the other way around. because of my feelings that I allowed to be defined by my results, I keep on creating results that show me kind of the similar. That's the mirror. The more you hold your frequency steady, even when the results delay, even when the results are not there or they are the opposite of what you want, the more you practice that, I promise you, the results that are coming new will be aligned and meeting the frequency that you hold on to. But that means that if you are in this one, that result will keep showing up as well. And that's where we are so stuck as the human experience, because that gap between what I want and what I see where I want to go to, but then in the gap, what I see around me in the present moment, that's where we are so triggered over and over and over again. All right. And being her now means that you stay open to possibilities instead of closing down in panic. But not only open to possibilities instead of closing down in panic, also, if you do not see yet one of those unconscious, unaware thoughts, that if you are working with a mentor or a coach, that please, you open yourself up for the possibility that even though you say, oh, no, that's not it. Sometimes I have those chats, conversations, right?
Yeah.
No, that's not it. And I go like, okay, don't say that too fast. Because if you would not have that unconscious thought, then you would not mention or asking what you're asking. So even though you cannot see it, the future version of you, she will stay open for the possibility of anything that can make her even grow more. Okay? You don't wait for evidence. That's what she does as well. You create the evidence. How? By creating the frequency of that you would like to live. You can write it down, right? You create the evidence. Don't wait for the evidence. You create the evidence with your frequency, with your feeling tone, with your vibration. And you do that with your thoughts. So that means that you have to become so aware of your unaware thoughts that you can consciously, because you choose to, you change your thoughts. You give it another meaning. You give another meaning to your current reality, even though you can't pay anything or something. And I'm going to give you an example. So, not that long a time ago, I think it was a few weeks ago, very short, I had this amazing opportunity to join my community that was holding a 3-day event in America. Okay. And when I heard it some time ago, I thought that was not my future. Oh my God, the airplane, the hotel. And I some things I didn't hear, but I was like, oh my God, that would be so amazing. So all of a sudden, out of the blue, I realized that the hotel was an invitation. It was an amazing, amazing hotel. And I was like, oh my God, the hotel is there, 3 days. I only need to get my plane. I will be in Los Angeles. I'm gonna go to see Hollywood. And I saw it all for me, right? So I felt like this long-held wish coming to life because I wanted to go back to the USA. I've been there, and this is a wish for me coming true. So, and also I would see a lot of people that are in the exact same or similar frequency that I am. We believe in the same thing. So I was like, oh my God, right? This is so beautiful. So it was a manifestation unfolding right in front of me. And just like one of my last invitations in Madrid, there I was also invited with a free hotel, 5 stars. This was kind of the similar. So what did I do? Normally, I would have said, I cannot do this. I don't have any money. And I would decide out of fear. I would look too much to my current reality and I would just say no. But this time I say, no way, Jose. I know now too much. So even though I have no idea how I'm going to pay everything, I just decided I'm going to go. So I notified that community that I was coming. They booked my hotel. I started looking at flights. I was there. Okay. I was totally focused that this was going to happen. So I was practicing everything that you're learning with me now. Okay? Now, you're probably expecting me to tell you that the money just magically showed up, or that I booked my flight, or that the universe lined everything up in seconds and that it was effortlessly. Because that's what we believe is what it's all about, right? Well, let me share you what actually happened. The money didn't fall out of the sky. The flight was not taken. The timing didn't line up. And the plane, I wanted to say it's still on the runway, but I think it flew away, but I was never on it. So why do I share this example with you? Because this is what happens with everybody here and with everybody that studies this. So once upon a time, what would I have done? If I would have done all the steps, right, I would have directly spiraled into, what did I do wrong? What did I miss? Maybe I didn't manifest it well enough. Maybe I thought I was focusing on what I wanted, but unconsciously I was somewhere else. Okay, and maybe how do you say that? I unconsciously blocked it, right? And maybe that happened. I don't know, but you know what I did? And that's what I'm teaching you here. I didn't go to any of these. I didn't go, what did I do wrong? Because I've been doing that always. But I understand now, sometimes it is divine timing. Sometimes it is life rearranging. Sometimes it's simply not meant to be. Or something better is coming. This is the way it looks like when everything is being created together. So whatever the reason was that I didn't go to America, I did not allow it to define me. I did not, or it didn't change my frequency. I didn't allow that. It didn't mean that I failed.
Yeah.
Right? So what did I do? When it didn't happen, I decided in frequency. I kept on moving in that frequency. I informed the team in frequency. So I shared them an email, and I didn't go like, oh my God, I can't come and I'm sorry. No, I don't remember exactly, but something like this. I send them like, hey, it was my meaning. I held that frequency, but even though it wasn't meant to be, and I still feel good. And I was able to stay in that frequency. Let me tell you this, I was not able to do that a year ago, probably not even 6 months ago. And everybody that already works with me sometime, I keep doing this. It's something that you keep doing over and over and over again. All right. So I embodied the version of me who was already there. So the version of me who would have been there, would she been crying? Would she been saying you did something wrong? No. She would just say, she would not say anything about that. And that's what I would like for you to hear today. And this is also something that I realized, especially with that in America, because this was one of the first times. But again, let me tell you this. I have been going through some challenges with my kids, especially my youngest one, still. So I needed to go through all those, I don't want to call them failures, but in the language of the speaking, right? Through all those challenges, I needed to go. And this is something that has happened for months. And I cried every day. I don't do that anymore now, but I needed those challenges with my kids for me to be able to do this what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
All right. So it's very important that you really understand that it's not just one day. And I also understand that source is not about results. Source is about vibration. Conscious is about vibration. And I know for a fact that even though I'm not in America yet, if that has to happen, it will come. But it's all about the frequency. So because I held on to that frequency about my America experience, what do you think what happened? Because when the America trip didn't flow, I came up with the idea of this experiment, this 3 days. This has literally come up when I realized that I was capable of holding the frequency of my future self. And I said, oh my God, what if I, in one day, finally got 3 days, what if I can only to those people that already know about this, not people that don't know about this, if I can give them this example, if I can make them understand what it's all about. So my American experience, you can fill it up with whatever you're challenged with. It's always the same. And in the beginning, the first year or the month or the week, you will not be able to do it. But you will cry one day a minute less. And then another day you will cry a little bit less. That's my journey. So out of that energetic frequency, I came up with the idea of this experiment. And when I did this 3 days, when I was making it, I was holding my frequency of trust as well. And just before this, I had another one, nobody signed up. And with this one, 8 signed up. But again, this is about a course. But you can also do that with a relationship. You can also do that if you want to improve the relationship with your kids, right? It's everything depends on your frequency. Now, with my kids and as a mom, I'm not alone. As a coach, people that are connected with my frequency, they will come. I don't have 10 sons to pick out. He has his own journey as well. But because every day more and more I can hold space for my son's process without beating myself up anymore. I did that. I'm a bad mom. What am I doing wrong? What if I should? I don't have that anymore. I do not have that anymore. And if I feel a bit of sadness because there is silence, well, I wrote a beautiful song about it. I walk myself through it differently. And I walk myself and I ask, what would my future self do? She trusts that it will be okay and that my son needs his space. So I want you to understand this. Again, this is not just about results. I don't care if it's a challenge with you as a mom. You're all playing roles. They're all identities. You are a spiritual being, and as an identity, as a role, you are a mom, you are a daughter, you are a partner, you're a coach, but that's not who you truly are. So it's not about just results. It's about how you walk yourself through everything that happens in your life. What if it's that simple? It's about how you walk yourself through everything that happens in your life over and over and over and over and over again from a place of trust, faith, and self-leadership. Okay? And yes, I love to say this again. I was not able to do this in a week. Okay? I've been taking thousands of repetitions, falling, standing up, crying, losing myself, thinking this is it. I'm done. I'm going to stop. I don't know anymore. Believe me. But you know what? Even though through the tears, I would get back up every time, every time, every time, every time. Okay, so it takes time, it takes energy, and it takes willingness. But I promise you that it works. So the invitation that I want to extend to you today is, can you walk as the woman who knows? I'm not asking you if you're already doing it, but can you walk? Do you believe that you can walk as the woman who knows?
Yep.
Can you move as the woman who leads? And do you think that you can breathe as the woman who trusts? Okay, you've got to do your work. You've got to work on that. But do you believe that you are able to do that? I mean, if I can do it, please believe that you can, right? So pop one word in the chat that you feel after hearing my story about America. What comes up for you? That one word, like, oh my God, that makes so much sense, or yes, or I don't know, whatever word comes up for you. Hey, Lisa, good to see you, or good to read you. I haven't seen you yet. Believe, frequency, know. Awesome. Yeah, it's absolutely possible. And things really change, right? So before we go deeper, I want you to play, I want to do a game. So I'm going to put you in the breakout room. And before we do that, Don't fear. I'm going to give you some examples of what it's all about, okay? So, I'm not so much going to give you a question, but I want you to embody. It's an embodiment exercise, okay? So in your breakout room, I'm not sure how many we are, but I will have a look in a second. You will pair up with one other person, or like yesterday with 3. One of you is going to be the current you right now, okay? And you're going to describe a real life challenge that you're facing. And the other one is going to play the role of the future you. And the other person will respond as the you who is already living the wish fulfilled. And give me a sec, I will explain. So you've got 2 minutes to share your challenge. If you need 1 minute and a half, even better. And then another minute is going to be for the person that is going to be your future you. So if I were a woman who already had this handled, what would I say to myself right now? So if I am the person that says, oh my God, I cannot go to America, and oh my God, I wanted it, and oh, and I'm challenged now by this. And then I want you to tell me, as my future self, how you would handle, what would you say as a future self to me? Okay? Does that make sense? I'm gonna go back to this one in a second. So here you got an example. And again, I'm talking about a sales launch, but you can put in here everything, right? Right now, I'm feeling stuck because my last date didn't
Yeah.
go the way I wanted to go, right? And so perhaps once upon a time, I would have said, I did a vision workshop, nobody signed up, nobody showed up, and I'm probably not good enough. This is not for me. People don't want to work with me. Or perhaps I choose a wrong niche. Okay, this is what I share with you. And then I want the other person to say something like, I hear you, right? And I want to remind you, I have already built a thriving business. So my future self is telling me, girl, you need all those failures. You need that all falling down. You can say something like that too. I hear you. I understand you. Though, keep going. I've already built a thriving business. And I learned so much from every launch. Because of all the launches, you started to become aware what your niche is. I don't
Yeah.
know, whatever that might be. Okay. And can you feel the differences? The current me and then the future you. So I'm going to give you a general example. Just for example, you're feeling disappointed because something you want didn't happen. Something doesn't go that you want the way you want it to go. Okay, so for example, you applied for a speaking opportunity. That felt like this is it. This is the perfect next step. And oh my God. But then finally, they didn't choose you. And you keep wondering, oh my God, why didn't they choose me? I thought that this was it, like my America flight. I thought that this was supposed to be. What did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong? Should I try again? And then I want the other person then make something up like, I hear you, and I want you to know I've already created a life where opportunities come in overflow. I know that what's meant for me never misses me. Or even though I don't have that speaker opportunity, it will give me more empowerment to perhaps do something differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You can even say, I don't doubt myself. I don't make it mean that I'm unworthy as a future self. As a future self, I'm going to tell you, current you, that I move forward no matter what. I trust in divine timing. I'm proud of how I keep showing up. And again, this is all to create awareness because this is the work that I do, that I have been doing, and that I still do. Okay? This is embodiment. This is not only read a book, this is not only do a course, this is not only do the activity sheet. This is really embodiment. So, again, the opportunity as what I just gave, the opportunity to speak. you can put in there any experience that you feel disappointed about. A relationship, a job, a health situation, healing, and it doesn't go the way you want it to go, or it takes longer than you think. And then the other person, let that future you answer with calm, certainty, and compassion. Okay. So 2 minutes to share, and then 1 minute to come back as that future self. Is there?
Yeah.
Hey, Robina, I'm outside. Okay, so is it okay if I'm going to put you in a breakout room, even though you're not going to participate, but you can listen? Okay, so I'm gonna make 3 rooms, and then where Rubina will be, she will not participate. I know she's working. It's good to see you, girl. All right. So let me go back for a second to everybody. Is that clear? Is that okay? Yeah, you're gonna share a challenge, and then the other person is gonna give a future, like you are the future self of the other person that shares, and then you shift. Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about being perfect. It's just about trying it. Okay. And becoming aware. That's what we're doing here. Nobody's perfect. So it's going to be aim. So it's going to be 3, right? Okay. And it's going to be like 11 minutes. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Enjoy. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah, you go. But I see Robina is with Gil. All right. I'm going to have to make a move here. Move to room 1. Move to room 3. All right. Okay. Robina. Nancy, can you join? Nancy?
I could see Alice and Steph, and then they were gone.
Okay.
And I only can see Gail and
Yeah, now
Robina.
you're back. Yeah, something went wrong. Okay, so let me see if I because I cannot create another one. I can put you in another group, and then you can listen. I'm gonna do that, okay?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I will give no, it's going to be too long of time. Ladies, what about if you practice it here? I'm not here. Okay? I'm like not here. You're just gonna do it together here.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But I don't know what to say because I find this I find a difficult one.
I can go first and then you can go.
Okay.
Okay, so right now I'm feeling stuck in my business because I haven't been able to schedule a vision workshop. I've been too afraid.
Okay. And how would it make you feel your future self? If you can see yourself in the future, would you then be afraid? How would you react then?
Okay, I'm gonna pause here a second. It's now your job, Nancy, to be her future self.
Yeah. Okay. I find this a hard one.
Yeah, so now perhaps you needed to be here so I can guide. So now it's your job. She's telling her challenge, like, oh my God, so she's coming from lack. She's coming from, I'm afraid, I cannot do it, I'm not worthy. That's her identity that she is reinforcing. But now you've got to be her future self. So now you've got to speak to her like you're the future of Gail, and you're saying the same, but then coming from the abundance, the abundant person.
Okay.
Just give it a try.
Okay. I don't even remember the fear. Okay. My meds are working, so I'm sleeping. Forgive me. Okay. You had a fear, right, Gail?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. I understand that you feel this, but you are more than this. You can just feel this like a guide, and that it's always with you, but I'm proud of you, and you can achieve everything you want and attract everything you want.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, the thing
you
I was
want-
gonna tell me.
Do you want to try to do it?
No, for the moment not. No, because I'm
Oh.
not. It's not going in. I'm too sleepy, so it goes from here to here.
Oh,
Yeah. I
Okay,
hear it,
but
but it's not
let's
coming
use
in.
that. Nance, let's use that. I'm sleepy, it doesn't get in. That's not your future self.
No, that's my reality for the moment.
24 hours, 7 days a week. This is not just when you are aware of it. So
Yeah.
this is exactly what I'm teaching these 3 days. And that's so often that we don't see it. I'm so sleepy, it doesn't go in. So how could you say that differently, Gail, as her future? Because that's what I'm teaching. I don't care what happens around you. I don't care if you're taking medicine.
Uh-huh.
If you allow that to keep being your thought, that is exactly the frequency that you're sending out, which
Mhm.
that frequency will come back in results.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm too sleepy. Nothing comes in. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. So how could we translate that as the future self speaking exactly about the same circumstances, but then coming from the future self? How could you reframe that, Gail?
I hear what you're saying, and I realize that you won't always be medicated or overtired, and your higher self will help you to retain what you need to retain, and you'll be able to remember what people are saying to you and what your thoughts are, and you just need to keep going and keep trying.
Okay. Thank you.
That was a real strong one, Gail.
Oh, thank you.
Really good. Especially like this will not be always like that. So you can,
Right.
it's so easy to say, I'm sleepy, I don't take anything in. So what are you creating, Nance? Exactly that,
Then yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
only if and when you are aware of it, you can shift it. But right now, at this moment, you were not aware of it. You
Mhm.
So you're like, oh my God, and this is what's happened. Oh, it doesn't come in, I'm too sleepy. Oh, so you're getting, I don't say you're stressed, but you are stepping into your nervous system and your survival mode. Like, oh no, I'm not gonna do this. This is not working for me, it's not getting in. How often happens things like that? And when you're
Yeah,
not aware of
the
that,
last few days since I have my new meds. Yeah.
but like Gail said, as your future you, this will not always be like that. So you can say right now, you can say, oh my God, nothing gets in and I'm sleepy. Or you can say something like, this will not be for always. I
Mhm.
believe and I trust that this gets better.
Yeah.
That's standing in your millionaire frequency. That's what most of the time we do not do, because we're so used to directly go to, oh no, I'm sleepy, this doesn't work, it doesn't get in. No, I don't want to do this exercise because it's not getting in. So what do you create? Even though you're tired, more and more you get tired and more
Mhm.
right? And everything that happens in your body, for whatever reason you're taking those medicines, remember that that's energy too. That's a result that is showing up for things that are happening in your life.
Mhm.
Always. Any results, physic results, things that go on around us, everything is always a result. There is not, you cannot say, oh yeah, here it's a result, but this is not a result. No, the laws of the universe work always the same for everybody in every place, in every moment. It's always the same. And that triggers. And at those moments, it's very difficult. And then it's also very important that you allow yourself to feel. Feel that frustration, feel that whatever. And that's the work. And that's what I'm saying. I have been doing this. I needed to go through so many deep processes. I cried so much, but I kept going. But that's why it takes time. You don't do this in just a week. That's why I sometimes say, right? Like, oh, I still do. And like, yeah, of course you do. That's part of, right? What do you believe? You just do it in a week? No, no way. But the power is in when you see it. So your power now was just in the fact that when you can see it, oh, I'm saying I don't want to do this exercise because I'm sleepy and it doesn't get in. How would the future version of you, so go the trigger. So we have, everybody's going to come back in a second, I believe. So what is a trigger? Your trigger is your current real circumstances, your physics, your medicines, you're not getting in and you're feeling sleepy. That's your trigger. Step number 1. What meaning are you giving it?
That it doesn't sink in.
It doesn't sink in. I can do it. I'm not worthy enough, because even though we think that that's not the thing, but the underlaying is I can do this. And if I say I can do this, then I think I'm not enough.
Mm.
Good enough, right? So the trigger is 1, the meaning that you give to it. Then after the meaning, it's very important that you start to see the frequency that came out of that meaning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody. Okay, so we had 2 people here that were not in a room, but it's supposed that it was synchronization because it was just perfect. Can I just give a little detail about what happened just now? Is that okay, girls?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so it's not easy. Okay, this is not easy, but I want you to practice with this, and I want you to walk against those moments when it gets not easy, because this is the work. Okay, so just a second ago, Gail did hers, and then she gave her future feedback to Gail. And then Gail said, okay, now it's your turn. And I was there. And Nancy said, well, I'm not going to do it because it doesn't come in and I'm sleepy. So Nancy has some issues. She's taking some medicines and her reality is real. She's feeling sleepy because of her current reality. But we're not talking about a current reality. So what happened? She's got a trigger. Her trigger is her current reality, her physics, I don't know, whatever issue that might be. That's her trigger, right? So because of the medicines, the meaning that she gives to it is that I cannot do it now. I'm not able, not capable. I'm tired. It's not getting in. That's the meaning that she's giving to it. And then the frequency that she's stepping into, is that the frequency of her future self, or is that the frequency of her current self? Nance?
The older one, of course.
The current self.
Yeah.
There's no wrong here. There's absolutely no wrong. But this is the work. This is what it takes to get you to the other place. But you've got to walk through these examples many, many times for you to be able to catch it. And just in a second, Nancy was not able to catch that she was allowing her circumstances to define the way she felt. And the way she felt created her emotions, and her emotions created her way of her decision taking. She took decision out of her not feeling good. And then she said, I'm not going to do it. Okay. So this is an amazing example of what it's all about. And I hope that you walked in an example like that as well. Like you struggled with it. Like, okay, what am I going to say? So this is what it's all about. It's about where I'm getting triggered. What meaning am I giving to it? And then you've got to pause yourself and you say, okay, so how does that make me feel? Well, it didn't make Nancy feel good, which then she decided to not do it. So what are you then empowering? Are you then empowering the identity of the future self or your current reality? The current reality identity, right? So I now see that okay, this one is my right hand, and in the screen I now see it's my left. I never seen that. It was always that's
No?
yeah. Normally when I see myself, when I lift up that one, it's my right one, and I just see it's left. That's really crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like confused. So what would a future self, so just give it 1 second because it's too powerful for me to just let pass by. I'm gonna ask you that, Nance. Is that okay? Are you willing to be coached just for 1 minute?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so did you understand the steps? Could you see it now? Like the trigger, the meaning that you were giving it, even though unconsciously, the way that it made you feel?
I hear you, but it's not getting in.
Up until now. So what would your future self say? That's where I want you to get. What would your future self say? Would she say it's not getting in?
That it takes time and that I need practice and practice to get over and over.
Okay, so how does that sound? Does that sound like it's not getting in? Or okay, it
No,
takes
that's better for me because I know myself. It needs to get in. Because now I'm thinking, you told us also going to the next best thought. And that's what I'm doing now for the last 6 months. And that's going well for me. This is something new. So something new for me is now
unknown.
the resistance. And now I need to read it and read it and read it. And then in a few weeks, probably, then it goes like, this is
Okay.
what she meant.
So I'm going to pause you here for a second. Your next best thought is a thought that your future self would have said.
Yeah.
Okay, because your current identity would say, it doesn't get in, it doesn't get in, I'm tired, it doesn't get in, it's not working. That's your current reality. That's the identity that you're giving power. But only if and when you are aware in those subtle, sneaky moments, you have the choice to pause yourself, to breathe, and then say, oh no, no way. I'm not going to not getting in. Even though it's not getting in now, this is not always the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Your future self already say. So it's different, but it's the same. I'm just explaining it now from a different perspective because your future self would use the next best thought, and your current identity would repeat why you're where you are. Okay, can you see how powerful this is?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, awesome. Give me a second. I'm going to take away the breakout rooms. I'm going to go back to the slides. All right. So I hope that this made sense again, like what just happened with Nancy, even though it didn't go what means perfect. It didn't go perfect. Just because of that, you will learn much more, Nancy. Okay, and Gail, you are together. You will learn much more when it's taking a bit of difficulties. Okay, because that is when it sticks with you. So, okay, so let's go to the next one. And that's the millionaire frequency. Again, I'm always talking about frequency. You can call it your next best thought. You can call it your future self. I like to call it my millionaire frequency. Okay, and let's break this down. Because what does it really mean? For me, millionaire is not anymore about the money alone. I'm not saying it's not included. Okay, it absolutely is. But it's not about how much money you have. It's not about the material things you have. It's about much more. And for me, again, it's about your state. Because if your state of being is not in a high energetic frequency, not that millionaire frequency, nothing will come to you. Or yeah, you can have Perhaps because you have a certain way of thinking, you can have a lot of money, but then there are other issues that are not aligned yet with the frequency. So millionaire frequency is not only about money. It's about your health, it's about your relationships, it's about your passion, your vocation, it's about your time freedom and your money freedom. Okay? So millionaire frequency, it's about the identity that you are willing to step in. It's about how you breathe, it's about how you decide, and how you carry yourself. And we just had an amazing example with the breakout room. Okay, so you have a current reality, but how much are you going to give the power to that current reality for you to feel not good? So yes, you can be sleepy. Yes, it is possible that right now it doesn't go in the way you would love it because you're a bit, I don't know how you call it, like a bit like that because of the medicine. That's the current reality. But it's your decision now to allow that to make you feel frustrated or ignored or irritated because it doesn't get in, or you just keep yourself into the millionaire frequency that even though that's my current reality, I'm not allowing that to define my showing up for myself. Okay, so it's how you breathe, how you decide, how you answer the phone, how you move through challenges. Because even if this is a small challenge right now, because if not, you would have not felt not good about it. So even though it's a small one, or you were not even aware of it, but this was a challenge, in this case for Nancy. For a second, it was a challenge, okay? And my America story, it's not that the results defines your frequency, it's the other way around. You hold the frequency no matter the results. So even though my trip to America didn't go through, I was able to hold the frequency. But I was only able to hold the frequency after examples just like Nancy. I've passed through those thousands of times. So it's not that the result defines your frequency, but most of the time, and most of the time we're not even aware of it, just like 2 minutes ago, we allow our results to define my frequency. We're back again with the law of the cause and the effect. You hold the frequency no matter the result. So, okay, right now, I'm not getting it in the way I would like to, but keep the high frequency. We can do that. I have pain in my knee. It's so easy to go, oh my God, my shitty knee, and oh my God, I cannot go to the gym. I cannot do this. I can't. Or I'm holding on to the frequency of that millionaire frequency, my future self, that even though I'm with pain, I'm not allowing my result to define the way that I feel. Not anymore. I'm not saying it's easy because I go in there and I get myself out of it. I go back in it and I get myself out of it. But that's the work. That's why you're here. And that's why, up until now, a lot of results have still not been in your life. Not because you need to know more, just you need to become more aware. And my future frequency, my millionaire frequency, that's the woman that expects miracles. She knows she belongs. She knows she belongs. And she doesn't collapse when something goes differently than that she expects. And I can tell you, life is not always the way that we want it to be. So how do you recognize this frequency? So what happened? What did Nancy say? Nancy, you're the example. She said, I'm learning something new. That something new, is that known or is it unknown?
Unknown. That's why I
Yeah.
feel resistance.
So what happens? Your nervous system goes into the unknown. Oh my God, it's something new. So because it's something new, ooh. So for a second, your nervous system doesn't feel safe because your subconscious pattern, your subconscious mind only feels safe in what it knows. And you said it yourself. Now, because it's unknown, it's going to take me repetition, immersion, and several time for me to be able to get it in. But what if we start to feel safe before it comes? It will only accelerate the unknown,
Mhm. Mm.
right? So how do you recognize this frequency? She feels safe in the unknown. So even though this is something new I'm learning, instead of, oh, it's something unknown, I feel this. So that means curiosity. That's what I do. Oh, it's curiosity, right? Okay, let's give it to me. I feel that I don't get it yet. I've been there. Every time when there was something new, I felt frustrated because I was not getting it in. But I didn't let myself be defined by that, because what happens? I started to step into frustration, not understanding, and then unconsciously I stepped into the unworthiness, not good enough, I don't know how, and it takes so much longer. But if there's something new for me now, I just know that's part of the process. I choose to feel safe even in the unknown. And she trusts herself even when the path is invisible. That's where we have the biggest block. I want to have 15,000 euros in the bank account, or dollars. I don't know where you live, right? Canadian dollars, whatever. But for a time, if I come from a lack, if I come from qualities of lack, that bank account will stay into a lack, because that's what I have been transmitting. But now I decide I'm going to trust myself even when my path is still not visible. Clients, results, relationships, I don't care, whatever that might be. Even if I don't get it yet, it's not getting in yet. She stops looking for guarantees outside of her. So I'm doing that vision workshop. That's what Gail shared. Gail is afraid about doing her vision workshop. Well, I hope you start to understand, Gail, why that's happening and what you need to do for you to be able to do it finally. You probably will not do it tomorrow, or perhaps you do, but you got to do this work. You've got to start to talk to yourself from the millionaire frequency, from the future self. All right. So stop looking for guarantees for you to be able to know that you are willing, or being able, better, that you have the capacity to do the workshop. If you saw my first workshop, that was not the way I'm doing it now. But I needed to go through that workshop for me to get where I am now. And that version of you, which is in the millionaire frequency, she moves with grace, confidence, and openness. Sees magic. She believes. She doesn't need the proof before she can feel it. But that's exactly where is our job, because that's what we have not been trained to do. So she finally knows, and that's where I'm stepping into in my own life now, that I don't need to chase, I attract. And if it's not here tomorrow, it will be there in the day after. And if it's not in the day after, I stay in that frequency, because I know now so much that it's my frequency that's going to give the results that I want. So let's talk about our daily choices. Like right now, the choice that for a second, Nancy, but then I know Nancy as well, she's very quick in shifting that. But just for a second, she said, no, I don't want to do this exercise. So everything you do, even the smallest decisions, even the smallest habits, they're telling your subconscious who you believe yourself to be. The way you get out of bed, the way you answer a message, the way you answer an exercise, the way you open up your fridge, the way you speak about money, the way you end your day. And in a kind of a way, none of these habits are neutral. Not the neutral that I explained, some of them know my hands, but not the neutral that. But what do I mean by that? Every single choice, every single decision you make is giving a signal. And your subconscious is always listening. It's always taking notes. You cannot switch off your subconscious mind, even not when you're asleep. So what does it mean by that? And this is really important. And again, we had an amazing example right now, but I hope you can also see it in yourself. Every small act, every small choice, every small decision you make is either reinforcing I'm powerless, lacking, I'm small, or it's reinforcing I'm powerful, magnetic, and unstoppable. Can you also now, coming back to you for a second, Nance, can you see that yourself now that by saying, no, right now I don't want to do it because blah, 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 you were giving results, you were giving a meaning to your current reality, which you were reinforcing, I'm powerless, lacking, small.
Yep.
Right? That when, if I would say, well, I'm going to give it a try, I'm having some difficulties in getting it in, but my future self would say, go for it. I'm going to try it because I don't care if I fail and if I'm not doing it right. Then forcing, I'm
Yeah.
powerful, and unstoppable. Okay.
Mm.
There is not an in between. I work a lot with my hands, and for me, there is nothing in between. It's either not okay, not feeling good, powerless, or it's either powerful. Even tiny things, how you stand, how you greet people, how you handle a setback. It's the little sneaky, unaware, unconscious, subtle thoughts, ideas, choices, decisions that we make, and they all have an energetic frequency.
Mm.
Okay, and I'm going to give you an example. I know perhaps somebody has a dog here. How do you train your dog? It's either a cookie or it's either no. It's either a cookie or no, right? Every command, every repetition, you either encourage the behavior of your dog, right? Or you encourage the behavior you don't want. There's nothing in between. You're not going to say your dog, well, you did it a little bit good and a little bit not good. No, it's yes, a cookie, right? Or no, this is not what you can do. So it follows the instructions you give it. That's the way your subconscious works as well. Moment by moment, every day, every second, every breath you take, every minute of the day. How does that sink in? Right? And again, you don't need, and you cannot, you will not be able to sink this in just one time. That's why the replay and that's why the repetition is so important. But can everybody understand the comparison that I'm doing with training a dog and your subconscious mind? It's exactly the same. It's yes or no. It's powerful or powerless. So I want you to invite you to feel into this. Just, you can close your eyes. It's just 1 minute, 30 seconds. How would the woman who lives from her millionaire frequency, how would she move through her morning? How would she move through a setback? How would she move through going through an exercise in the breakout room and not fully understand what it's all about? Would she panic? Would she stress out? Would she say, oh my God, I don't understand it. Oh, shit, shit, shit. Or would she say, can somebody else go? I don't get it. This will not be for always. I need some time. So what tiny shifts could you claim if you start today with this shift? And I would like to drop a yes in the chat if you can see how your tiny habits, decisions, choices are shaping your identity. Are you starting to be able to see how powerful the most little small things that you decide to do or not to do, one breath, one thought, right? That they shape your identity and that you can choose your identity of the woman in her millionaire frequency or the woman in the powerless, right? Yes. All right. Awesome. Because consistency and rewards for my dog. Yeah, consistency. Yeah. Well, that's what we do as well, Stephanie. Why do we always talk about celebration? It's so easy to just beat ourselves like, oh my God, I'm doing it wrong. Oh, but that's why it's a dog as well. A dog reacts so good when it's being rewarded, and consistency, repetition. Well, that's us too. Step into the millionaire frequency. How do you answer the phone? Ah, you did. Yeah, because when we answer a phone, we're not even aware of it, but how often before we answer, we go like, oh my God, or what should I answer? It's everywhere. It's 24/7 in. That's why I always say we manifest 24/7. You cannot think about a car you would like to have, but then the other hours in the day, you're frustrated or you're confused or you're allowing your powerless in identity to be reinforced by the way that you think, right? Okay, awesome. Now, let me give you some example stories, okay? Imagine that you planned a beautiful dinner with someone that you love. Can be with your kids, can be with your partner, can be with a friend, and you dressed up. It's kind of like our first day, right? You didn't perhaps dress up, but you were ready to connect with me. But now you plan a beautiful dinner and you're all excited and you made a reservation, and then the last minute they cancel. And now think with me. What would your old identity, the one that is empowering the powerless identity, what would that happen? What would be I would feel, oh, she doesn't want to be with me, or I'm rejected. Oh, I'm not being valued. I hold that space open, and now they just at the last minute they cancel. That could be something that you think about. But what would a millionaire frequency identity say or feel or think?
It's okay. You can see it as a moment for yourself.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So you're kind of saying, I'm not going to allow the canceling to define me. So
Yeah.
now I have a time for myself. How beautiful is that? That
It's
would,
like the example I gave to you this week with Angela.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the work is in that we become so aware, because I always say to everybody, you do not need to become more intelligent for you to be able to do this work. You've got to become more aware. So the more you become aware, that just like in the example just a few minutes ago, when you would be aware of that, you could do the same because you know it. We know that. But most of the time, we are not aware. We have about 54,000 unaware, not aware thoughts. So it's our job to become so aware. That's why I also use stories. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to go to the restaurant anyway. I've got some me time. My energy is still valuable. I'm still feeling radiant. And I'm going to go out as the way that I'm dressed up. Right? And it sounds small, but the shift is huge. Instead of going, oh my God, she doesn't want to be with me, or why, and this is not okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to enjoy it even double. I don't know, whatever. But the frequency is everything. What about a work opportunity? So imagine you prepped up and you have a job interview and you were sure that you were going to get it. Right? You visualized, you aligned my trip to America. You took action, you prepare yourself, but then they choose another candidate, another person, right? So what could you think? What would your current reality, what would that think? Someone needs, okay, Lisa. Hope to see you soon. Enjoy the replay. So what could somebody say when you are kind of still stuck in your current reality? I messed up. I should have tried harder. I did something wrong. I didn't manifest good enough. I'm not good enough. That's the identity that you are empowering. Right? And what would your millionaire frequency, your future self, for example, say? Something better is waiting for me. That's
Exactly.
wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm still worthy, even though I learned that with my kids, even though my youngest son isn't talking to me, I am worthy as a mom. I'm still worthy as a mom. It took me some. Oh my God. But I'm there now. I'm still powerful. I am still that woman who leads, even though I didn't get the job. Right? Another one, you're working out, you're doing everything on your body. That's me. I'm going to the gym every day. I'm feeling amazing. I'm taking care of my body. and then I get in my menopause, and then everything starts to change, and then I get my injuries in my knees, not one, both, right? And yes, I did that. Why me? What's happening? I'm doing so much of good work. I'm coherent with my mind. I'm doing the work as in my body. And now my body is against me. I thought that. Oh my God, I'm back to zero. So what now? But what I'm telling myself each and every day, and I feel it, this is temporary too. This is just for now. My body is wise. I choose to believe that my body can regenerate. Healing is happening while I speak. I can rest. I can be in my couch with eyes on my knee. I have eyes on my knee right now, and still be in my power. And I'm going to be returning even stronger than I have ever been, because I didn't only make stronger my legs, but I'm learning from this again too. Does that make sense? Can you resonate? Can you give me a 1 in the chat if these resonate with you, the examples? Yes? And do they, the examples that I'm giving you, do they support you in your own struggles? Are they supporting you like, oh my God, yeah, I can definitely start to change some things that I'm going through from that millionaire frequency or the future self? Awesome. All right, cool. So before we head into our second breakout room, we're still okay with the time. I want to make sure that you get this. The millionaire frequency, or if you want to call it your future self, it means trusting the unseen. Even though my knee is not healthy yet, my frequency can hold on to the fact that I believe that it is healthy. And how would I be feeling if my knee is healthy? I would be feeling powerful. I would be feeling happy. And I am happy. And I am powerful. My son is not talking to me yet. Trusting the unseen. How does that make me feel in the future version of the energetic frequency? A mother who feels worthy. A mama who feels herself seen, even though her kid doesn't see her up until now, because he goes through his process. I trust the unseen. I'm not saying it's easy, but you got to practice that. You've got to persist in the assumption, feeling before it's here. You got to decide from the end. If I would decide from the pain and the fear that I have right now, I would not make decisions and I would not have sit here. But I decide from my frequency of that version, future version of me that I want to be. Empowerment, healthy, fulfilled, worthy. So feel from the wish fulfilled and becoming magnetic to miracles. That's what it's all about. And it's not an event. It's a way of being. And a way of being, and I will give an example of that just a little bit more downstairs in the slides. It's something you keep doing over and over and over. You get to practice it, but we're practicing it now, right now. Okay? So how would she sit? Would she sit like that? Or would she sit straight up? Would she look around her room? Or would she hold her posture? Feel it, lock it in, because you decide what reality responds to. Not reality. It's you what reality responds to, and not not you to reality. But that's what we do most of the time. So we're going to have another round in the breakout room. So now we're going to do like an identity of a decision. So think of a real situation where you have to make a decision. Big, small, going to bed in a while, going out for a walk, drinking a glass of water. I don't know. Just share it with your partner, okay? So what is one thing that you know you have to make a decision about? Perhaps it's a decision about putting on a dress or a trousers. I don't care. Just share one thing that you need to make a decision about. and you don't know it. In Gale, it could even be like, I want to do a workshop. It's a decision I want to make, but okay, you're not doing it, because if not, you would have made the decision. So you are in a situation and you've got to make a decision. And we're going to do the same. So you got about 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes to share that. If it's even shorter, then the other person, the partner, will coach you as your future self. So it's not asking the other one, what would your future self tell you? No, I want you, the partner, to answer as the future self of the person that shared. Okay, and if you have no decision to make, I'm saying to you, like, borrow one. Should I launch or should I not launch? Should I invest? Should I do it or should I not do it? Perhaps you need to pause. Should I pause? Should I not pause? Perhaps you are in forgiving. So if you don't have a situation where you can make a decision, then just borrow one that I gave you here. Perhaps that helps you. So I'm into some decisions that I have to make, and it's going to be in October, September, October, November. So I'm trying to move to Bali. That's me. That's real me. That's my current reality. Okay. So this is not just an example. This is real me. I've got to make a decision. I want to make a decision. But every time I think that I'm kind of close making the decision, something happens. Okay. Like, I'm not sure, I'm doubting, and I feel frustrated. I'm still a human being, right? It's not that I do not feel frustrated anymore. You can feel those things, but just don't build a house on it. And I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do? Like, I'm doing it wrong, right? And then my future self would then something say like, hey, I'm living in my dream location. I'm living in Bali for at least a few months. And I trust that every delay is there to rearrange my divine timing. Does that make sense? I say something like, I know that the universe is protecting my alignment. I'm proud of myself for following my dreams. And I know it's coming. I have this unwavering faith that it's coming. Today, tomorrow, September, October, November. But I want that. I want to do what I'm doing and being able to travel 1 month to Thailand, 1 month to Bali, have my place near to the beach in Spain. That's what I want. So what decision do you need to take? Where are you in the crossroad, right? Share that. And then the other one is going to talk back as the future of that person. And I'm asking you to practice with this, because this is the real work that you should be doing with yourself in that gap where we are. Is there any question? If you have a question, open up your mic, because I don't see everybody.
Right. How does this different than the last one when you say coach from the future self? Is it not the same thing we did before?
It's absolutely very similar, but this time it's going to be from a decision taking. Like, now you're going, the first one was a challenge, like any challenge. And now I really want you to focus, okay, where do you need to make a decision? Are you going to go? Are you going to stay? Are you going to invest? Are you not going to invest? So it's kind of a similar thing.
What
but
is what does the partner do different?
No. The first one shares, and then the other one gives a feedback as the future self. I want you to practice with this, because it's not
That's the same. That's the same, giving the feedback from the future self.
Yeah.
The only part that's different is the first person. It's not a challenge, it's a decision.
Yeah, but finally, if you are in a decision, it's also kind of like a challenge, because if you didn't make the decision yet,
But I'm just looking at the word coach as your future self versus talk as your future self. Is there anything there, or is that the same
no,
thing?
it's the same. It's the same, Kimberly. It's like coach the other one as a future self, saying like, what would you say as her future self? Talk, coach.
So it's the same
Yeah.
way, just how to self-talk from the future.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, is that clear for everybody? Yes? All right. Let me see how many people we are. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, and okay, so we're gonna make 3 rooms, and you will just be with 2 persons, okay? And let me see that I don't put Robina in. Let me see if I can do that. Don't go in right away. because I'm going to put Robina. I'm not going to put her in.
Susanna, can you choose with who we go or not? Normally not, right?
No. I let that do Zoom. I don't
Okay.
put anybody. I just let it assign automatically.
Okay.
Synchronization, the way it should be for whatever reason. Okay. All right. So Robina. Okay, Robina is in. Okay, awesome. All right, there you go, ladies. Enjoy.
So when we come back, can you put up the next slide?
Yeah. Okay. Robina.
Yes.
Robina, can you mute yourself?
It's okay.
Can you mute yourself? Robina, I put you in a room, you can go. Robina, you just have to click join and then you go into the room. All right. All right. Awesome to see you back. Can you see the chat? Can you see what I posted in the chat, or do I have to post that again? I'm not sure if you're in the breakout room that you can read that. If I shared my Bali challenge. Cannot read that? It's not in the chat?
No.
Okay.
No?
Okay, well, I thought so. So I'm sharing it again. This is just some more
Yeah,
examples.
I
Yeah.
see.
Now I can see what you wrote.
Yeah? Okay, you can just go back there in a second or copy it and read it back later, okay? So drop in the chat, type in one word to describe how it feels hearing your higher self's wisdom spoken through someone else. How does that come in? Like, oh my God, I'm stuck, I don't know, whatever. And then you get that message back from a future self, even though it's somebody else. How would you describe that in a word? Like interesting, curious, strange? I don't know. Everything is okay, right? That was so helpful to hear. You can do this. You are doing it. People are listening. Relief. Powerful, helpful. Okay, amazing. Awesome. All right. So let's go to the next. You asked me the next sheet. I will get there in a second, Judith. Confirming it felt like phew. All right, phew, yeah. Phew from the hot. Okay, so possible. Awesome. Yeah, beautiful words. So here's what I want you to really notice, right? When you allow another person to hold up that mirror, you can get a taste of how your higher self might actually guide you outside of your old stories or fears, right? Because another person can see it most of the time much better than you do yourself. But you can practice this. If you start to become so aware of all those moments when you allow to be defined by your circumstances, and the more you practice that, you can hold that mirror also up yourself. But it takes time. It takes a lot of energy and willingness to do that over and over. Okay? And it can be deeply moving because it shows you a path you maybe didn't see for yourself, like helpful, powerful, possible, like you can do this, right? So again, you can do this anytime. You don't need a partner. I'm not saying that it will be very helpful, but I also want you to understand that you can do this by yourself. You can do this alone. You can practice stepping out of your current identity, and you can speak to yourself from your future self. You can do that over and over. You can even journalize it, or you can just look yourself into the mirror. Like, I'm stuck, I can't do this. Like what you said, Gail, I'm afraid. And what if you look to yourself and you say, even though I'm afraid, my future self would tell me this is exactly what you need to get to where you want to go. How does that sound? Because again, this is the work. Letting the frequency of your future identity guide your choices. This is the mirror work. Over and over until it becomes natural. You've got to create a habit. You've got to practice it so much that you start to do it naturally. That's what I do. I don't get it out of my life. My life is still happening, but I'm so aware of it that I can mirror that back to me, and then I can choose to come from a different meaning and a different perspective. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. So let's do an identity embodiment, living from the end, okay? So up until now, we have looked at how you think about your challenges, the meaning you give to it. And we had an amazing opportunity to see that most of the time it just happens naturally. It just subtle sneaks in, and you're not even aware of it. And then you yourself created unawarely a frequency which then sets out your attitude and the way that you act. Right? We have practiced how your future self would speak to you and explore the energy of your wish fulfilled. You see, and you have seen that coming from your current reality and then the identity of your future self, that energy is different. But you've got to choose to change that. That's rewiring. That's reprogramming. That's literally neuroscience. That's reprogramming your old way of thinking, right? But I want to take you one step beyond that. So how does she live? How does she move through her day? And how does she carry herself in every single moment of the day? Not only when it goes right, because there's a difference between mentally repeating affirmations. I'm so amazing. I have my clients. I'm so good. I can do this. I am loved. I am lovable. That's one thing. But another thing is truly embodying your new identity. That's what we're doing here. So what does embodiment means? You no longer visit the state of your future self as a mental vacation. You live it. You live there from your present moment. You make decisions from that future in the present moment. So if my current reality says I cannot do something, what do? Most of the time we take a decision from that current reality. But the future you would probably have the capacity to do what she wants in the present moment. So make that decision from there, even though you don't know yet how you're going to do that. Like I did with my trip to America. I decided for my future version has the money to go everywhere I want. So I made the decision to go there. That doesn't mean that you saw it. Money didn't come out of the blue. But what do I decide then when these things still pop up? Because, hey, it takes time. Results catch up. They come after that you practice that frequency. So you regulate your emotions from there, not from what happens around you. Because if you allow your reality to define your emotions, you keep attracting the same of what you already have. And then we say, like, I know everything, but I'm not getting it done. What's going on here? Why does it work for some and not for me? And you build relationships from there. It's the difference between practicing being her and being her, even though your reality is not exactly the way you want it to be. Okay? So there is a client that I had. I'm not going to call her by name. Let's say her name is Anna. We don't have any Annas here, right? And she was working on creating peace in her family. Okay? She has a very big family, and they are very well in money. They have no issues with money. Okay. And in the past, family drama always made her shut down or overreact. Okay. And there was one day that I don't remember why, but it doesn't really matter. There was another family together. Okay. There was this big family dinner and everybody was there. And there was a heated argument at the family dinner. It was really pretty tense. And the old Anna would have left the table. She probably would have cried. She would have perhaps screamed, and she would have felt small and afraid and unworthy. Because if we allow that to define the way we feel and we stand up and we go away and we cry, the underlying unaware thoughts are, I'm feeling small, I'm afraid, I don't know how to do it, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not enough, I'm unworthy. But this time she paused. Why? Because she has been practicing what we're learning here so often that she was able to become aware. She was aware of what happened. Oh my God, there was a trigger. So she was aware of the trigger, which is the heated argument. And then she realized that she was giving a meaning to it because she practiced it so much. And she was able to catch the feeling, the frequency that was created by the meaning that she gave. But at that time, that's why the other day, Kimberline asked, when do I do what? It depends on where you are. If you are very aware like me, I very quickly can see when the trigger comes up, when I feel it, so I can very quickly step in. But before, I needed to go through the whole bounce and be very not okay before I could change and pause and breathe. So she's kind of pretty aware, this Anna, okay? So she was able to pause and she reminded herself, okay, so she said, okay, my future self, she's a woman who knows how to hold peace. Even if the whole world is chaotic, even if my whole family is not where I am. So she decided to stay calm and she listened and she did not react. She responded, but she didn't react. And afterwards she told me, for the first time, I felt powerful instead of powerless. I had an example with my son myself. He always talks and he tells me when he was 12 and I didn't give him money and he holds still resentment towards me. And up until now, I allowed that to feel so powerless. Oh my God, if I should have been doing differently, if I would have done better. But at that time, when I was in the car with him, for the first time, I did not allow that to make me feel small. And that created an energetic feel also as a ripple effect to my son. And I just saw that something shifted. From that day, he stopped smoking weed. Right? He decided that. But I want to say that your energy is also a ripple effect for all the people that you have around you. So for the first time, Anna felt powerful instead of allowing her circumstances to feel small and powerless. So up until then, she was reinforcing the identity of powerless. But because she was aware of it, she said, no way, Jose, not this time. My future self, what would she do? She would stay calm, even though everybody else is not. That is embodiment. And you can do that with your partner, you can do that with your job, you can do that with your coaching, you can do that with your fear, you can do that with everything. But it takes time, it takes energy, it takes practice. Does that make sense for everybody? Yeah?
Yes.
Resonate with that. Awesome. So as we move to the final practice today, I want you to feel into these questions, okay? And start practicing with these questions, at least these 3 days. How would my future self move through my daily routines? How would she wake up in the morning, even though the bank account says €7? How would she walk through a setback over and over and over again? My future self, she allows me to feel sad. She allows me to feel frustrated. But my future self is not building a house anymore in those emotions. She's building a tent, and every time it's a smaller tent, that it's easier for me to get all together and go away. How does that future self of you that is in a millionaire frequency, how would she make decisions? And reflect about those questions. Because until you rehearse these micro moments, until you rehearse these micro moments, you will keep defaulting to your old patterns. If you do not practice with all the things that you're learning these days, your old pattern is still running the show. That's just the way a default works. Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody to close your eyes. It's just 1 minute. Just close your eyes. Just allow yourself to finish today and find yourself a comfortable position. Close your eyes and just breathe. But just be a little bit more conscious about your breathing. Not just breathe, but feel the air going in into your nose. Blow it out through your mouth. Slow and deep. Awesome. Just do that a few more times. Inhale through the nose. And feel how your body relaxes. And bring to mind one area in your life where you have been feeling resistance. Maybe money, maybe today, maybe love, maybe the practice, maybe health. Whatever that might be. Just for a few seconds, bring that to mind. That place where you're feeling that resistance. And now as you, because you choose consciously to bring that area in your mind, I now want you to imagine that it's done. It's complete, and you're living as a version of you who no longer worries about that. You can do that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice, but as you can bring to mind one area where you feel resistance, I promise you, you can also imagine that it's done. You're living that life, it's solved. You're living the version of you where it's done and where it's no longer a worry. And then ask yourself, what would she feel in her body? Is she feeling proud? Is she grateful? How does her heart beat? How does she make decisions? How does her breath move? Just for 10 seconds more, just see her, just feel her, step into her. This is that energetic blueprint that we have been talking about. This is that millionaire frequency. You can feel it very intense. You can feel it a little bit less. That's okay, because we're practicing this. It's a practice. And say silently or out loud, I remember who I am. And I choose to live from the end. And let that frequency anchor through every cell of your body. Make it energetic. Make it a vibration and let it settle in. Breathe into it and trust it. And take a very deep breath in slowly and exhale deeply out. And when you're ready, open up your eyes and carry that energy forward into your day. Remember it, because that is you too. This is the work, right? And maybe you felt it strong, and maybe it was just 3 seconds that you could sense it. Either way, you did it. It's not about 5 minutes feeling it. Start with 3, start with 10. And the more you practice that, the more you build upon that frequency. This is the work, right? And you don't just do it once. You don't just feel good for 5 minutes and then you move on. You dwell into the state until it feels natural. And that's why I put here when you brush your teeth. At least I brush my teeth every day, right? But I don't brush them once and then I expect them to stay clean for the rest of my life. You brush your teeth every day. You shower regularly. That's your physical hygiene. But what about your mental hygiene? What we're doing here is mental hygiene. It's energetic hygiene. It's a frequency hygiene. But unfortunately, so many people do not take the time to practice this daily. They haven't made it a habit yet. They get inspired for a moment, right? But then they don't see things show up and then, well, they stop doing it. They do not keep going until it becomes natural. And if you truly, truly understand the why behind the how, I know for sure that you would be doing this daily. You would take 3 minutes, 5, 10, 15. You would do it several times a day, I promise you. You would keep on reconnecting with this frequency. You would become so aware. That's why it's so important that you repeat. Because if you would go to the replay, right, or any class you have, it doesn't have to be mine, but the more you do it, you will hear different things. And what you didn't become aware of now or then, you will do it when you will walk through the replay, when you go through your notes. And then finally, you would dedicate an hour to meditate. I'm doing an hour and a half every day. Because it's the same as keeping your teeth clean. I'm not brushing my teeth an hour, by the way, but you know what I mean, right? It's a metaphor. Okay? You're keeping your frequency clean. You keep your teeth clean, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you keep your teeth clean, right? Keep your frequency clean too. You got to keep your frequency clean. It's so easy to go back. It's so easy to go back into that resistance. And that resistance is when your frequency gets dirty again. The moment that you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you begin to impress your subconscious. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between something that's real or not. And the more that you repeat, the more you practice, the more you experiment with those concepts, not because I say so. Let them convince them by themselves. And the more you allow your faith to deepen, faith comes with practice. Faith just doesn't come because you want to trust. Faith comes with practice. The more vivid your imaginal acts become, the more natural it will feel. And again, that imagination, your subconscious doesn't know the difference. That is vividness. Making it feel so real, your subconscious accepts it as true. Start with 3 seconds, then you get 10. But that's the challenge. It takes willingness, it takes time, it takes energy. And most people just don't do that. Because what happens, they don't see it, they look back to their 3D reality, and after a few tries, they say, it's not working. And what happens then? They collapse their frequency and they recreate the same cycle. And I've done that too. We all have. But if you want your reality to truly change, you have to live this. You have to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled no matter what you're going through, no matter what shows up, over and over again, while we're walking that beautiful human experience, right? And remember, the second you look to the 3D reality, the second you look to the 3D proof, you fall out of the state. You're not in your millionaire frequency. Because especially when you don't see the thing showing up, you got to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled even more than ever. And that's when you open up the door to miracles. All right. And this is what brings us to the last. This is the recap. This is what we have been doing. You practice what it really means to be here now. I'm not saying that you already get it or doing it, but you practiced it. You explored how to move, to breathe, and decide from the identity of your wish fulfilled. You saw that frequency is not about results. I showed you that with America, okay? It's about how you hold your energy through the results, the delays, or the challenges. That's what is your job to learn. That's what you learn in all the courses of manifestation and everything, the books that you have read. Frequency is not about results. It's about how you walk through the challenges, how you hold your energy. You experience how to speak to yourself from your future self perspective. We only did it 2 times, but you just got a way of feeling like, oh my God, if I can do that with somebody else, what would happen if I'm alone and I can do that with myself over and over? Reframing doubt into trust, fear into faith. That's your job. You learn the differences between hoping and embodying, and why hoping is not enough. We talked about stepping into the millionaire frequency, trusting the unseen, persisting in your assumption, deciding from the end, becoming magnetic to miracles, right? You understood that your 3D reality is a shadow of past states. When you understand that phrase, you start to understand the how, the how behind, the why behind the how, the why behind the how. Your 3D reality is a shadow of past states. Results catch up. They come after the vibration that you keep on sending out. You anchor the practice of making identity-based decisions rather than decisions based on fear of lack. And you embodied that daily micro shifts matter. the way you wake up, the way you answer the phone, how you react to delays, about those moments that don't go the way you want them to go, a son that doesn't talk to you, whatever that might be. Okay? And if there is one thing that I want you to remember from today, it is that you manifest who you are, not what you want. And repeat it until it feels natural. This is absolutely the path. Your identity is your frequency. Your identity is your frequency. So what identity are you going to reinforce? Or with other words, people that already started with me in my program, what channel are you deciding to manifest from? Are you going to decide to come from this one, or are you going to become so aware that when you're here, you consciously shift it to that one? Okay. So this brings us to the end. Let me go back. Hey, Gail. See you laughing. That's a good thing, like that. All right. So tomorrow is the last day. Again, I already have some questions in. If you have some questions, please send them in and I will work them out. Do not put any break on that. Just send me anything. There is no silly questions. They don't exist, okay? Please ask me anything you want. Send them to me privately and I'm putting them together, and then probably in the WhatsApp or in a sheet or in a video or whatever, I will share them with you, okay? Thank you everybody who already sent me some questions. No questions, but somebody wants to share something you took away from today. Kimberly, birthday girl.
Yeah, just like what occurred to me just now, actually, a good takeaway was, I mean, first of all, this whole thing was fabulous. Like, you're just probably one of the most brilliant coaches I've ever been with, and I've been with a lot of like superstar amazing coaches, but you're like beyond. Yeah, I just I know, I see, and I know where you're headed. Anyway, you helped me so much. I'm so grateful. But the takeaway is you just said, like, the more you practice, the more you anchor into the reality of the future self. And I'd never had that image before. That I think of an anchor in a ocean with a sandy bottom. So the more I practice, the deeper the anchor gets. Like, the boat can't blow away, like it's gonna sink deeper into the sand and be buried, like it's gonna root. But it's more like the anchor works better for me than roots, because people cut down trees and kill trees. I don't know, but it's like, I don't know, but the anchor is so heavy and goes deeper and heavier and deeper and heavier with the practice. So I love that. It's huge. Thank you. I want it. That visualization is going to make a big difference for me.
That's awesome. And you know what? And Kimberly has worked with some amazing coaches, truly. So it's not that Kimberly needs to know more to become smarter. I mean, she knows it all, but it's just sometimes a perspective or a way of teaching or a way of showing or telling it that you then get that, like, holy cow, I already knew that, but now that's so huge. That's so amazing. I love that.
I'm going to say one more thing, and it's going to be super quick. But the other big takeaway, because this is all about embodiment for me, like you just said, I have the knowledge, but I'm not living it. Like, the way I've been saying it is, I'm downloading, but I'm not installing. When you do a software update, you download it, but then you have to install. So I don't feel like I've installed, even though I've downloaded the data, right? And I'm not living it. So when you say you live the vibration in everything you do, it's not a mental vacation. You're living it now. That was so good. I get it. Thank you.
I know Kimberly some time now, and I met her not in her strongest moment. So I know how already she advanced. So even though she is now where she is, but I mean, it's so huge already where she is nowadays. That's brilliant. So I'm also, I wanted to put that in the light too, because that's just amazing, the work that you have done. And then before we met, the work you already did with yourself. I mean, you come from far, Kimberly. Remember that always. It's just amazing. So thank you so much.
I catch myself breathing now. So thank you.
Stephanie, please.
Yeah, one of Mary's powerful lessons was how our words matter, and embodying this. And so I have a partner in believing, and exactly a month ago yesterday, we committed to calling each other at 6 a.m. That was Sharon, but one of the other coaches had that idea. So now for a month exactly, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. We call each other. We speak out loud our visions to each other. We hold that space for each other, and how that has just changed my vibration and throughout the whole day, because then that's what I think about, because it's pretty much right when I get up or shortly after and I'm taking my walk and we call each other. And so that helps me keep my vibration throughout the day, because I'm speaking it. I'm not just thinking it, I'm speaking it out loud and putting it out to the universe. So this is all about embodying it. And this has been tremendous for me the last month.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Good.
Awesome. Yeah, it's exactly. And thank you so much for sharing that, Stephanie. You can do that with a partner, and it's very powerful. But I also want everybody to understand you can also do it with yourself, right? You can, before you scroll with your phone, before you wake up, before you put your feet on the ground, when you go out of the bed, you can absolutely train yourself to do this by yourself if you do not have a partner to do this with. If you have a partner, it can be even more powerful. But it's exactly what Stephanie says. It's about doing it. It's not about reading another book. It's not doing another course. This is embodiment. It's really working with it. It's becoming aware. It's setting that frequency. And it's invisible. It's difficult. It's the challenge to trust in the invisible. But that's where is your power as well, to become aware when things don't go the way you want them to go, right? So thank you so much for sharing that, Stephanie. Also, yeah. Say 6 o'clock in the morning. Woo. That's a challenge already. That's really like willingness, all right? Showing up for yourself in your dream. We've got to put in the energy. We've got to put in the time, the energy, and the willingness. If not, no way, Jose. Awesome. All right. Somebody else wants to share?
No, just thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Yeah. All right. Then I would say have an amazing day. Tomorrow we see each other again. Again, Kimberline, have an amazing, amazing birthday, and enjoy. And everybody else, even if you have no birthday, enjoy too. And we talk and we see each other tomorrow. Love you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey,
Thank
Joe.
you. Thank you, Suzanne. Amazing.
You're so welcome. My pleasure.
I love your song. If you can send me that.
I will. I have it on YouTube now.
Love it. I'll share one with you. I wrote after the Joe Dispenza. After I also wrote about the quantum, but it's so interesting how we're so different, but they're both so good.
All right, cool. Okay, I will send them. And Judith, I saw your message. Judith was really going like, do something with your songs. You got to do something with your songs. I was like,
Yes.
no.
Or let me market them for you, because I'm contacting lots of people in Hollywood, and I can send some of yours with mine.
Well, and Judith too. Yeah, everybody is welcome to do that. But at the time when Judith was so excited for me to do that, I didn't feel it yet. Do you remember, Judith, that I said?
Yeah.
So right now it's not, but it could come. I told you, and all of a sudden, I showed my song of my son, and it created emotions for other people, and they could resonate with it. And I was like, at that moment, I was like, and I had some like 4 or 5 more songs, and I was like, you know what? And then I started to think about a name. So it's Voe. It's voice and emotion. Voe. That's pretty cool. And yeah, I know about, you talked about me, Kimberly, with rights and all that stuff. But you know what? I want my message to go out. So I created a YouTube channel. I don't care at the moment.
Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I'm just, yeah.
And you know what? It'll come to you. We don't
will.
have to go out there. It'll come to you.
It will.
But you know what? When I go to the channel, I have to go to the link, and then I only get one song. So I don't know how to get the playlist.
Yeah, I can send you the whole playlist, but if you go to the song and you would then click on my name,
Right.
Ciao, ciao, then you can.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You will see that you have the whole playlist, but I can send you the play. Bye bye, Robina. I can send you the link, but you can go. You just that one song, and then you click on my name, and there you see all my playlists.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. I love it.
Okay, thank you so much.
So, one other thing, I'll send it to you in the message. The slide